Hello students, welcome to the class. In this lesson, we are going to study cost associated with inventory. The classical inventory analysis identifies four or rather three major cost components. First being the holding cost or the carrying cost. Secondly, the setup cost. And third, and the most important one is the procurement cost or purchase cost or buying cost. So let us understand the concept of each of these costs in detail. So holding or carrying costs basically are the costs incurred for storage of the inventory. It is proportional to the amount of inventory and the time over which it is held. The elements of the carrying cost include opportunity cost of capital invested in the stock, the costs directly associated with the storing goods like the storeman's salary, rates, heating and lighting, racking and palletization, protective clothing, and stores transport. So all these costs are included under the holding cost or carrying cost. Also the obsolescence cost or and the deterioration costs and costs incurred in preventing deteriorations to the inventory, the fire and general insurance, which is required to safeguard the inventory that is stored against various contingencies, are all included under carrying cost or holding cost. So this particular cost is usually expressed as a rate per unit or as a percentage of inventory value because it is taken to be fixed for each unit of certain item of an inventory held for a unit time, which you will be seeing in further course of our lesson while we'll be solving the practical numericals, that how exactly the carrying cost or the holding cost is represented. Then next is the setup costs, which is the costs incurred for getting a machine ready to produce the desired output or the desired finished goods. So ordering costs or setup costs are incurred whenever the inventory is replenished. It includes costs associated with the processing or chasing of the purchase order, transportation, inspection for quality, expediting overdue orders, and so on. It is also known as procurement cost. So setup costs refers to the costs incurred in relation to developing the production schedules, the resources employed in making the production system ready, and basically assembling the machine. And moving on to the next important cost, that is purchasing cost or buying cost, which is the cost of the purchased item itself. So these costs are the purchase price for the items that are bought from the outside sources and the production costs if the items are produced within the organization. This may be constant per unit or it may also vary as per the quantity purchased or produced as it is increasing or decreasing. So if we have to calculate the total inventory cost, we have to add all these three types of costs. That is, in order to get total inventory cost, we have to add carrying cost, setup cost, and purchasing cost associated with the inventory. Now, once you're aware with all these types of costs associated with the inventory, let us move ahead to a very important concept under inventory management, that is economic order quantity. So, economic order quantity or EOQ is an important factor in controlling the inventory. It is a quantity of inventory which can reasonably be ordered economically at a time. It is also known as standard order quantity or economical order quantity as EOQ. Let us study this particular concept in detail with the help of a graph. So mathematically, this is basically a mathematical tool for determining the quantity that minimizes the costs of ordering and holding the inventory. So the basic idea for which the EOQ is calculated, that is the economic order quantity is calculated so that the organization is able to minimize the costs associated with the ordering and holding inventory. The right quantity to order will be the one that makes or that strikes the optimal balance between these two opposing costs, that is the ordering cost and the holding costs. Students, kindly watch the graph as I'm explaining it to you. So, in determining the EOQ or economic order quantity, ordering cost, as you can see over here, and carrying cost over here are taken into consideration. So as explained earlier, ordering costs are basically the costs of getting an item of inventory, and it includes placing of an order as well. Whereas carrying costs includes the costs used for storage facilities, property, insurance, and loss of value through physical deterioration. Either of these two costs affects the profits of the firm adversely, and the management tries to balance these two costs. So this particular balance or reconciliation point is known as economic order quantity, which is over here in our graph. That is, so there are certain assumptions upon which this particular analysis is based on. First is that demand is known with certainty. Then demand is relatively constant over a period of time. Third, no shortages are allowed, and lead time for the receipt of orders is constant, and the order quantity is received all at once. So these are certain assumptions that are taken into consideration while calculating economic order quantity. Now, as you can see in this particular figure, that order cost of an item is decreasing as the size of the order is increasing. Now, this happens because the total number of orders for a particular item will decrease, resulting in decrease in the total order cost. As a result, carrying cost is increasing because firm keeps more items in the stock. Therefore, the trade-off of these two costs is attained at a level at which total annual cost is the least. And at this level, order cost or order size is designated as economic order quantity. The quantity may be calculated with the help of this particular formula, which is under root twice the product of annual demand and cost per unit divided by annual holding cost per unit. So students, this is the concept of economic order quantity. you'll have a more clear understanding as we solve the numericals of this particular concept. But for now, I hope you understood at least the theoretical part of this concept. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Happy learning!